I lost my legs to save Ryan. We've been married for 3 years. Throughout our marriage, he allowed his friends and family to demean me. I confronted him about it, but he merely tapped his forehead impatiently. They're just stating the truth. I never asked you to save me then. Nobody inquired if I wanted you to. My youthful admiration crumbled instantly. That evening, I spiked his milk with sedatives. While he slept, I amputated his legs. I held him as he howled in agony. Upon regaining consciousness, I found myself 3 years in the past, before the accident occurred. Ryan is commendable for staying with a disabled wife for 3 years. Dude, you don't understand. Maybe Ryan has some unusual preferences and this disabled person is great in bed. I believe Chloe is deceitful, using her one leg to control Ryan forever. Laughter echoed from the hotel room. I stood outside, fists clenched. The laughter ceased and Ryan's authoritative voice emerged. "That's enough!" Someone feigned surprise. "No way! You can't truly love that disabled person, can you?" After a pause, I heard him say, "How could I? I mean, I don't have any strange preferences. It's frustrating seeing a disabled person every day. If it weren't for 3 years ago." "What are you doing here?" The door swung open and everyone stared at me with mockery and pity. Unsurprisingly, Ryan exhibited a moment of panic and remorse. He approached me with heavy steps, his tone full of reproach. "Don't you understand your own circumstances? Why are you here?" I remained in my wheelchair, locking eyes with him and subtly raised my phone. "You instructed me to come an hour ago," Ryan had texted, claiming he was intoxicated and needed me to pick him up. Ryan shoved me into the room, sighed, and closed his eyes. "Satisfied now?" The men who had mocked me raised their hands, laughing. "Sorry, we were just kidding. Wanted to see how much you care about Ryan." They explained that the text was sent from Ryan's phone to prove my love for him. Their disdain was palpable. I looked at Ryan confused. He seemed aware all along. "I didn't realize you'd actually show up," he remarked. He sensed my thoughts and tapped his forehead wearily. "Think about it. Even if I was drunk, couldn't friends or drivers help get me home? What else could you do?" I followed his gaze to my legs. "Do what? Probably panic and rush to get a taxi, annoying the driver to carry me inside?" Reflecting on it, I realized how foolish I was, eager to be ridiculed in their eyes. With nothing left, I decided to leave. I bowed my head and maneuvered my wheelchair out. Someone obstructed my path. "Don't leave so quickly. Chloe can't leave without a drink." A hand offered me a drink, but I'm allergic to alcohol. I glanced at Ryan again. He chose silence, facing the room filled with eager gazes. I accepted the glass silently. As anticipated with Chloe, she exclaimed because I threw the drink at her. What the hell? I activated the wheelchair's electric mode and sped past the obstruction. Behind me, voices cursed, but I ignored them. I courteously shut the room's door for them. Ryan caught up and began berating me. "Chloe, don't overdo it. They're all my friends." He reached out to grab me, but I resisted. "They're your friends, but I'm your wife. You protect your friends, but disregard when your wife is insulted." Ryan pursed his lips, displaying a guilty yet stubborn expression. I felt a sense of futility as I steered my wheelchair toward the main entrance. Upon reaching the doorway, he chased after me once more. "They might be a bit much, but it's all true. I didn't want to heed his nonsense." Rubbing my tear-filled eyes, I tried to maintain a calm voice. "Let's get a divorce." Ryan froze, instinctively refusing. "No, we can't get divorced." I stared at him puzzled. "Why?" "I heard it myself. You don't love me." In the past, I deceived myself into believing that even though his friends didn't accept me, his love was sufficient. Today, hearing those words aloud, I realized how absurd I was. The night air was chilly. Ryan removed his jacket and draped it over my legs. "It's my fault. Those were just drunken words. Don't believe them. We won't divorce." Ryan's fresh scent enveloped me, and I couldn't hold back my tears. He guided my wheelchair through the bustling streets. "I'll take you home." He pushed me slowly down the street, seemingly lost in thought, not noticing the pothole ahead. I alerted him, and after an apology, silence resumed. I opened my mouth slightly. "I hope you understand that if things are difficult, or if you don't love me anymore, we can get divorced. I've loved Ryan for 10 years, but that doesn't mean I'll cling to him." Ryan responded unhappily. "I said we won't divorce, Chloe." I closed my eyes, reminiscing. 3 years ago, when the lab ceiling collapsed, I instinctively pushed Ryan aside to save him. I survived, but lost consciousness and my legs. That day, I had planned to confess my feelings to end my 7-year secret crush. Upon waking, the first thing I saw was Ryan's intense gaze. "Chloe, are you crazy? Who told you to interfere?" My throat felt painfully dry. I wanted to reassure him that I liked him and wanted to support his family. My parents died when I was young. Without his family's assistance, my life would have been tough. I attempted to get out of bed for water, only to realize I couldn't feel my legs. Ryan's guilt deepened. He held my hand. "I'll be your legs from now on, Chloe. Let's get married." I admit, I was blinded by happiness at that moment. "Okay, Ryan, I've liked you for 7 years. Ryan held my hand tightly without saying a word. I subconsciously ignored the hint of resentment in his eyes. Ryan was already gone when I woke up the next morning. Warm milk sat on the nightstand. "Work has been hectic lately. Don't wait for me for dinner." I took a sip of milk. It was sweet, but I never liked sweet milk. Loud bangs echoed outside the door, followed by morning shouts. It was Ryan's cousin, Chloe. I sighed deeply, thinking she was truly a troublemaker. Chloe affectionately wrapped her arm around me, but her eyes were full of sarcasm. "You really know how to give my brother trouble, huh? Last night's party had several important connections he needed. Your outburst really messed things up for him. So, what are you going to do about it?" I looked at Chloe calmly. "You can get Ryan to divorce me." After the initial thrill of happiness faded, I sensed Ryan's frustration too. He always kept a slight distance from me. His friends didn't initially treat me that way. I understood they were just voicing what Ryan couldn't, so I had mentioned more than once that if it was out of gratitude for saving his life, there was no need. We could divorce. But he never agreed. Chloe sneered. "You don't really think my brother won't divorce you because he likes you, do you?" She forcefully dragged me into the wheelchair. I struggled, but it was futile. What could a disabled person do? She laughed softly near my ear. "Come on, I'll show you something interesting." The interesting thing Chloe referred to was Ryan on a date with another woman through the window of a couple's restaurant. I saw Ryan fixing the girl's hair. His eyes were filled with love. Chloe pouted. "See, that's the girl my brother really likes." I didn't understand. Then why doesn't he divorce me? I'm not the one clinging to him. Chloe said angrily, "Because you used saving his life to blackmail him. If he divorces you, people will see him as ungrateful. Stop pretending to be noble." Wasn't this all part of your plan? I couldn't comprehend why everyone thought I saved Ryan with ulterior motives. I only lost my legs, but he lost his freedom. The people inside were too engrossed and didn't notice me outside the window. I chuckled, maneuvered closer, and lightly tapped the glass. Chloe didn't expect me to do that. Her face stiffened. "What are you doing? How amusing! She brought me here but only allowed me to leave heartbroken." It was too late for her to stop me. The two inside noticed us, shocked and panicked. Ryan quickly appeared in front of me. "Emma, listen to me." He didn't know what to say, glaring at Chloe. "Who told you to bring her here?" Chloe sulked. "I was thinking of you too. You and Sophia have been in love for years." I stood there dumbfounded. In love for years? Back then, before I confessed, I subtly asked Ryan if he had a girlfriend. He said no. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the courage. "Emma, go home first," Ryan scolded Chloe, then called a car for me. "Wait." I raised my hand to stop him. "I want to talk to the lady inside." "Emma," Ryan frowned, clearly unhappy. I gently held his hand. "You better listen to me or I don't mind shouting 'cheater' on the street." I was used to the strange looks over the years, immune to them. The embarrassment would be all theirs. Ryan's frown deepened, but he obviously cared about the person inside. The next moment, he pushed me into the restaurant. "Ryan, is this your wife? The one who saved you?" The woman seemed to recognize me. She propped her head with one hand, smiling at me. "Hi, I'm Sophia, Ryan's first love." Just like everyone else, she acted friendly but was full of malice. "Ryan, why don't you take your cousin and sit over there? I want to talk to Emma with just a few words." She took control. Ryan took Chloe and sat nearby, watching us worriedly. "Emma," Sophia leisurely stirred her coffee. "You know, if it weren't for you, I'd be the one married to Ryan." I didn't know. I told her I'd never seen her in his circle. I didn't know he had a first love. Sophia looked up, her eyes somewhat wistful. "We had a secret relationship because of my family. Ryan said his family wouldn't approve. Only Chloe silently supported us. We dated in secret for 2 years before the accident. We were ready to come clean to our families, but you ruined it. No wonder Chloe hated me when she found out I was marrying Ryan. Was it my fault? I confirmed multiple times whether Ryan had a girlfriend. He chose to hide the truth and then decided to marry me after the earthquake. Sophia saw my thoughts and laughed softly. Aren't you curious why he insisted on marrying you? I looked up at her, instinctively feeling the answer wouldn't be good. Because he found your secret love diary, Emma. Sophia spoke with a hint of hatred. At all times, he found it after you lost your legs and while you were unconscious. His mother saw it too. She was kind-hearted. Our families were old friends and watched us grow up. She asked Ryan, "Do you like Emma?" Hoping if we had mutual feelings, we could be together. Ryan thought it was pressure from the elders. "I will marry her," he said, abandoning me due to what he thought was family pressure. So, that's how it happened. I remembered how I eagerly confessed my feelings when I discovered Ryan wanted to marry me. It was laughable. He could have divorced me, but he didn't. That's what I didn't understand. Sophia gave a mocking smile. Because you're useful. Ryan is at a crucial moment for his promotion. How would people react if they knew he abandoned the person who saved his life? Emma, you've already made things difficult for him once. Don't do it a second time, okay? So scheming. Who knows if your parents' death wasn't karma? I couldn't hold back. I splashed my coffee in her face. She could say whatever she wanted, but bringing up my late parents crossed the line. Emma, what are you doing? Ryan rushed to shield Sophia. I pointed at her. She insulted my parents. Sophia was in a mess, tears welling up in her eyes. I didn't. I was just explaining our past. It's her. Ryan glared at me full of anger. Apologize. I looked at them for a while and then smiled. Okay, before I apologize, can I have a word with you? Ryan didn't speak, which meant he agreed. Come closer. It's something I want to tell you alone. He walked over and bent down slightly. I slapped him with all my strength. Divorce! Ryan's face turned completely black. Emma, I told you we can't divorce. Oh, we can't divorce, so you care that much about your reputation? But this time, I'm done sacrificing myself for him. Then wait for the lawsuit. I turned my wheelchair to leave, but was yanked off violently. I was thrown to the ground. Ryan's eyes were bloodshot. Divorce? Look at you, a cripple. Who would want you? I stared at him in disbelief, unable to believe he said that. Am I a cripple by birth? Ryan was furious. Yes, to save me, you're my great benefactor. Did I beg you to save me? Did anyone ask if I wanted it? I'd rather be crippled myself. Do you know how much pressure this guilt has put on me? Do you know how much I've lost because of this favor? He vented about the pressure of owing me half his life. I wish you hadn't saved me. I looked at him dumbfounded. A faint smell lingered in the air. Under immense humiliation, I lost control. Ryan noticed and quickly placed me back in the wheelchair. Look at yourself. What can you do without me now? He looked at me with disdain, covering me with his jacket. I'll take you back. Calm yourself down. Ryan called a car for me. The driver was a plump, middle-aged woman. He had briefed her in advance, even giving her a little extra, asking her to push me home after arriving. Probably noticing my mood, she made a cheerful hand gesture before leaving. Life still has hope. She might have been worried I'd commit suicide. I wouldn't, because just half an hour ago, I received a message from a stranger. It was a chat screenshot. Ryan, your wife is determined to divorce you, huh? Looks like your loving husband persona won't work. No worries, though. If one path doesn't work, we'll take another. Remember that other boss I mentioned? He loves playing with disabled people. Emma fits the bill, right? Since she's divorcing you anyway, take this chance to catch her in the act. Accuse her of cheating. That way, you won't have to take the blame for abandoning your savior. Tomorrow night at 9, don't say I never gave you a chance. The person said a lot, but Ryan's single-word reply, okay, made me utterly hopeless. Cruel. Blaming me for saving him, adding pressure, and now trying to squeeze the last bit of value out of me to pave his way. I don't know who sent me that message, but no matter who, I'm grateful. Emma, I'm back, Ryan returned, reeking of alcohol. He wobbled over and squatted in front of me. I'm sorry, I was a jerk today. Let's not divorce, okay? I looked at him calmly, showing a gentle smile. Okay, really? I nodded, handing him a cup of hot milk. I was wrong too. Drink this, sober up. I booked a ticket to the Maldives for tomorrow. How about we go on a trip together? Ryan panicked, then looked confused. Tomorrow? Let's talk tomorrow, all right? I smiled, giving him the milk, watching him drink it down. The drug took effect quickly. As expected, Ryan fell unconscious. It's truly troublesome when you can't walk. It took me 2 whole hours to saw off his legs. He woke up midway, screaming crazily, forcing me to stuff a towel in his mouth. He shook his head desperately. I comforted him. Don't worry, I won't kill you, just taking your legs. You didn't care for them anyway, so give them to me. He made muffled noises, probably begging. I plastered the chat log to his face. He finally quieted down, leaving only pain and despair. As dawn broke, I finally sawed off those 2 legs. The knife had gone blunt. Ryan passed out several times, but woke up again after finishing. I removed the towel from his mouth. He was barely breathing. Emma! Whatever. I stuffed it back in. I didn't want to listen. I realized too late my life was already ruined the moment I lost my legs. Since he wanted to completely ruin me, I decided to ruin him first. I lit the coal in the room, holding the whimpering him to sleep. Perfect timing for eliminating a beast in human form. I didn't expect to open my eyes again. The numbness in my legs made me widen my eyes. I was reborn before the accident happened. I jumped up, startling everyone else in the lab. Ben, you all right? I stared at my legs, giving a perfunctory reply. I was back in my 2nd year of graduate school. Back then, to be closer to Ryan, I chose the same major and even managed to join the same group. But that accident made me abandon my studies. Feeling the strength in my legs, I trembled with excitement. Now it's 1:27 p.m. on May 8th, 10 minutes before the ceiling starts to come loose and fall. I once risked my life to push Ryan aside to save him, ending up trapped under the fallen ceiling myself. Emma, what's wrong? A pair of big hands touched my forehead. It's Ryan. Got a fever? Need me to get you a day off? I instinctively avoided his hand, and his eyes showed a hint of hurt. Our strange behavior caught the attention of others. Are you two having a lover's quarrel? Normally, I was always chasing after Ryan. Ryan neither accepted nor rejected me, so everyone jokingly called us a couple. No, he has a girlfriend. We have nothing to do with each other. I quickly denied it. This lifetime I felt unlucky just being associated with Ryan, seeing my quick rejection and mentioning his secret girlfriend. Ryan was slightly stunned. In a low voice, he asked, Emma, is there some kind of misunderstanding between us? I looked at him and suddenly understood the strange dynamic between us. Ryan had a girlfriend at this moment, yet he still flirted with me ambiguously, not willing to admit it. Even when I pointed it out, was he trying to have an exciting affair while still enjoying my affections? So, the person I once liked turned out to be a rotten one from the very start. Watch out! A voice shouted, interrupting my thoughts. The ceiling started to fall just like in my past life. With Ryan standing right in the center of it, I was only at the edge of the falling ceiling. In my past life, I ignored my own safety to push Ryan away. This time, I quickly ran away from the danger. Emma! Ryan called out in disbelief. The next second, the ceiling fell. Ryan cried out and then passed out. Out of moral obligation, I still called 911 for Ryan. The doctor said Ryan's legs were crippled, and he would be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I barely managed to keep from laughing out loud. Emma, why? Why didn't you save me? Ryan woke up, his voice hoarse and tearful, as if I were the ungrateful one. You could have pushed me out of the way. I tilted my head. Ryan dropped the act. I know you're back too. He was asking why I didn't save him, revealing that he was also reborn. Ryan's face flushed with embarrassment. He had intended to gain the moral high ground and make me feel guilty. I sat next to him and gently patted his legs. Ryan, your legs are ruined. Do you remember what you said to me in our previous life? Did I beg you to save me? Did anyone ask if I was willing? I would rather have been the crippled one myself. I smiled at him. You didn't want to, right? Now congratulations, you got what you wished for. You don't have to feel guilty because of me now. You only lost your legs, but you are upright and don't have to bear any unnecessary responsibilities. Ryan sat there dumbfounded, his face a mix of emotions. Emma, I never realized you were such a psycho. Can't you tell the difference between angry words and real ones? His current look overlapped perfectly with how he brazenly told me in our past life that he didn't need me to save him. If I saved him, he blamed me. If I didn't save him, he still blamed me. Anger surged up in me and I slapped him. You know I'm crazy and still dare to talk back? Want to lose your other leg too? Hearing my words, Ryan suddenly shivered. With too many things happening one after another, he almost forgot how miserably he died in the previous life. I must have lost my mind. I've always disliked women like you. Not being bound this lifetime is actually a good thing. 10 minutes later, Chloe rushed in with a worried look on her face. Ryan! Alex was on a business trip and couldn't come back, leaving her to bear such bad news alone. Auntie, don't be too sad. At least he's alive. Being alive is good. I symbolically comforted Chloe. She wasn't bad to me in my previous life, but she wasn't all that great either. Before I married Ryan, she truly treated me like a daughter. But after the marriage, although she genuinely pitied me, her concern couldn't withstand the passage of time and her son's constant sighs. Emma, watch your words! Ryan got anxious. He didn't want Chloe to worry, but now he couldn't even turn himself over. Emma, his father and I are busy. Thank you for taking care of Ryan, Chloe sobbed, holding my hand. I know you have feelings for Ryan in this situation. And she started crying again. I understood what she meant. She was worried Ryan would end up alone, just like she once worried about me. I spoke without any reservation. Auntie, I only see Ryan as a brother. Besides, Ryan has a girlfriend? Chloe looked at Ryan in disbelief. Is what Emma said true? Ryan pressed his lips together. He didn't want to reveal it so soon, but now I forced him to. I added helpfully, I've already notified her to come. I don't want to be a homewrecker. I hope you understand. Just as I finished speaking, Sophia, wearing a white dress, appeared at the door. She reacted similarly to Chloe, shocked and in tears. Chloe had met Sophia before. She didn't quite like this girl because she had 2 older sisters and a younger brother. Such a family background didn't match with her son's. But given the situation, Chloe couldn't say much and used the excuse of getting some food to leave. Ryan, Sophia, with her tear-streaked face, looked immensely pitiful. Ryan avoided her gaze. Emma, you shouldn't have called her in my condition. How can I? He couldn't finish as a yellowish stain spread on the bedsheets. Sophia instinctively took 2 steps back, a slight trace of disgust in her eyes. Ryan noticed it and his pride was shattered. Emma! He looked at me with pleading eyes. I remained unmoved. What do you expect me to handle this? Your girlfriend is here. Isn't this more appropriate? After scolding Ryan, I turned to Sophia. Sophia, I've heard bits and pieces of your love story. If you two are so in love, you're supposed to be together for life. And now you should start learning how to take care of a disabled person. Under my relentless urging and moral coercion, Sophia struggled to help Ryan up. The bathroom door slammed shut, and I didn't miss the look of resentment on Sophia's face. I chuckled. When things went south for me, they could indulge in their lofty, unrequited love. In a different situation, under life's pressures, could they still stand firm? After briefly explaining things to Chloe, I left. Ryan had his mother and his girlfriend. He certainly didn't need me hanging around. I lived my life as usual, attended classes as usual. I could walk freely, run freely. The long-lost sense of freedom enchanted me. I heard that Ryan was stubbornly doing rehab every day, but sadly there was no progress. Chloe contacted me frequently, often expressing her dissatisfaction with Sophia. Apparently, Sophia didn't take care of Ryan as well as I did. Ryan wanted to get in touch too, but I'd blocked all his contact info. 3 months later, while dining with my team members, I ran into Ryan and Sophia. Sophia was pushing Ryan towards us, and neither of them looked good. Sophia was busy scolding Ryan and didn't notice me. What are you doing here, you cripple? Are you trying to embarrass me? The disdain in her voice sharply contrasted with how gently Ryan used to treat her. It's not surprising Sophia got mad. I had quietly investigated. Ryan's so-called romantic love was merely Sophia's long-planned scheme. Sophia's family background was rough. She hoped to find a man with money and without much intelligence to change her fate. Ryan arrived at just the right time, but unfortunately for her, I snagged him in our previous life. Ryan's face turned red with humiliation. If I didn't come, how would I know what you and your friends say about me? Sophia sneered, calling me a cripple, saying I'm no longer a man. Are they wrong? Look at you. You even need my help to use the bathroom. What else can you do? If it weren't to escape my family, who would want to be with a cripple like you? Ryan trembled all over. You said what? Sophia ignored his murderous glare. If I had known taking care of a cripple was this much trouble, I would have picked another target from the start. Ryan Ward, divorce. Well, we haven't had the wedding yet, so we were already legally married. It seemed Ryan's mother knew her son's situation and didn't allow him to be picky. Sophia nonchalantly punched him twice. Divorce? You think I don't want to? Serving you for 3 months makes me want to puke. If it weren't for your damn mother, you'd think I'd want to marry you? The seemingly innocent Sophia had transformed into a heartless beast, but someone like her was a perfect match for Ryan. I couldn't hold back and laughed. Finally, they noticed me. Seeing me, Sophia quickly got rid of Ryan, who was a hot potato. You're just in time. Take your brother away. Back when Ryan and Sophia were secretly dating, he always told Sophia I was his sister. Sophia gave Ryan a cold look. I'm going back to the party. Don't cause any more trouble. Without a backward glance, Sophia left, leaving Ryan and me to face each other. What he's going through now is exactly what I went through back then. Ryan, do you remember how your friends talked about me back then? Ryan turned his head away, his body trembling slightly. I'm sorry, I didn't know, I interrupted him. You knew everything? You just didn't care because it wasn't happening to you. All right, don't be upset. In my opinion, Sophia's still quite good to you. She just scolded you a bit, but didn't hand you over to some old pervert, right? I meant to comfort him, but his face grew paler. No, Emma, let me explain. I hit him hard in the face with all my might. One slap wasn't enough. I landed several more. Emma! Ryan was furious but powerless to retaliate. I suppressed my anger. How dare you speak of love? Sending me to other men is love? Letting your friends insult me is love? And two-timing is love? You don't love me. You just realized you're crippled and your ideal girl won't love you anymore. You just want someone who would give you their all. Do you think someone so selfish deserves to speak of love? After that day, Ryan never came to find me again. My life improved steadily. Occasionally, people would mention Ryan, commenting on how poorly he was doing. I heard that in front of Ryan's mother, Sophia treated him decently, but behind the scenes, she abused him. For some unknown reason, Ryan silently endured it. I guessed he truly loved Sophia. Chloe called me a few times, treating me like a confidant. That's Sophia. I used to think she was kind and gentle, but she's got such a black heart. Emma, if only you had married my cousin instead. I smiled. Don't say that. Ryan and I are siblings. Chloe pouted on the other end. But you're not real siblings. Mark just raised you for a few years. You're not even on the household register. Emma, maybe you should crash the wedding. It's next month. Hearing this, my eyelid twitched in a daze. I remembered that before Ryan and I got married, Chloe wasn't so hostile towards me. After we married, she suddenly changed, getting closer to Sophia. Now that Sophia was marrying Ryan, could it be? I casually asked Chloe, "You don't like him?" Before I could finish, she vehemently denied it. No way! How could I like my cousin? There was a brief silence, then Chloe hesitated. All right, maybe a little, but he's my cousin. It's impossible for us. So I'm looking for a good sister-in-law for him. Emma, you really don't consider my brother. I laughed it off, but secretly saved the recording. I'll think about it, Chloe cheered excitedly. A month later, I attended the wedding. When I arrived, Ryan was being pushed out by Sophia to greet the guests. Ryan seemed embarrassed and gritted his teeth. Do you really have to drag me out here? Sophia slapped the back of his head. Another word and I'll tear your mouth apart. I couldn't believe their relationship had deteriorated so much to the point where they could still get married. It's thanks to Ryan's mother wanting to torture Sophia. When Ryan was healthy, she would have never let someone from Sophia's background near her son. But now, Ryan's crippled, and families of equal status wouldn't want their daughters marrying him. Ryan's mother originally wanted me as her daughter-in-law, but Ryan insisted on being with Sophia a few months ago, so she couldn't face asking me to take Ryan back. Sophia's family loved money, so Ryan's mother simply gave them $300,000, effectively buying Sophia for Ryan. They happily handed over Sophia's household register after receiving the money. Initially, Sophia was willing to half-heartedly take care of Ryan for the money. After being tricked into marriage, she discovered she was bought out by Ryan's family. Ryan's mother wouldn't give her a penny more. Divorce? No way. Weren't they in love then? Lock it in. Ryan saw me. He looked at me from a distance, his eyes lingering on my legs with longing. Ryan's mother never showed up. She was openly humiliating Sophia. I didn't understand. Had Ryan's family given up on him too? Chloe at the family table noticed me and secretly gave me an okay gesture. It was her plan to release the memories of Ryan and me during the wedding. In her words, Ryan had feelings for me. He'd regret it, and maybe even call off the wedding. This could ruin the wedding and humiliate Sophia the most. But she didn't mention it would also put me in a tough spot. Her scheme was too loud, so I had to quietly make some adjustments. Isn't this Ryan's little sidekick? A familiar voice. I turned to see one of Ryan's old buddies, who used to make things difficult for me. Judging by your eyes, you're still hung up on the cripple, huh? You got some special kink or what? His words were rude to me and to Ryan. Daniel, if you're not here for the meal, get out. Ryan appeared beside me, scolding his former friend. Daniel sneered at us. You still think you are something? Look at you, crippled. I pity you. Let me tell you, your dad has already taken your 12-year-old brother home. I was surprised. Ryan had a half-brother. Seems like Ryan was abandoned by his father. As for Ryan's mother, Daniel, get out of here. Ryan was on the verge of fury, but he couldn't get up to hit him. Instead of leaving, Daniel sat down more casually. Get out, Ryan. What are you causing now? Sophia rushed over annoyed. She kicked Ryan's crippled leg, making a scene again today. Aren't you? Sophia started yelling and hitting Ryan again. Give Ryan some face outside, will ya? Daniel laughed. Besides, the ex is here too, he said, turning his gaze toward me. I didn't want to stir up trouble right now, but Daniel is so annoying. In both this life and the last, I grabbed the red wine on the table and splashed it right at him. As he looked at me in shock, I warned him. What you say about Ryan is your business, but keep your mouth clean when it comes to me. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to tell Ryan's family about your shady dealings. In my last life, Daniel loved introducing all kinds of girls to bosses with twisted preferences. That boss was someone he arranged to do a favor for Ryan. When Daniel heard me mention that guy, he immediately behaved like a scared quail. Emma, Ryan choked as he called my name. I'm sorry. I really didn't know life would be like this. After the accident, the big screen suddenly started playing, interrupting Ryan's apology. I saw Chloe stand up excitedly. Emma, why don't you just crash the wedding? It's next month. Chloe, you wouldn't be into him, right? No way. How could I like my cousin? There was no video playing on the screen, but our conversation was clearly broadcasted to everyone. This already chaotic wedding turned even more chaotic. Chloe screamed to turn off the screen. Sophia rushed forward and started beating her up. The people around were stunned and could barely hold her back. I clicked my tongue in surprise. Of course, a girl raised in a family that values boys over girls wouldn't be a weak little flower. I found it ironic, thinking back to our previous serene chat in the restaurant. So peaceful in content amidst the chaos. I quietly left the scene with Ryan calling my name behind me. I heard about what happened next from others. Chloe's hidden feelings were exposed, causing her parents to have a big argument with her uncle. They thought Ryan must have crossed a line, leading Chloe to develop inappropriate feelings. Ryan's uncle, Uncle Tom, already disappointed in him, completely gave up on him now. Even Ryan's mother reluctantly abandoned her son. Thankfully, the mistress had died early on. They could still treat the illegitimate son as their own and grow close to him. Sophia was half crazed by now. Her reputation was ruined, and the term shrew stuck. She wanted a divorce, but Ryan's family wouldn't let her go. They thought losing their son was all her fault. If she hadn't messed with Ryan's mind, he and I would have ended up together. Given my feelings for Ryan, how could I not have saved him in that accident? I would have taken his place, and he would have married me. Such a move would have brought them good reputation. His family would have gladly accepted that. Their schemes thoroughly killed off any remaining sympathy I had for them. 6 months later, Ryan committed suicide, taking Sophia with him. I heard that Sophia had secretly connected Ryan to Daniel, who introduced him to an old man with special fetishes. Afterwards, Ryan lost his mind upon waking up. He cried, saying he realized his mistakes and cursed Sophia, wishing her a terrible death. Finally, in his delusion, he said that given another chance, he would choose Emma without hesitation. He hired people to sneak into his house, replacing Sophia's supplements with sleeping pills. When Sophia fell asleep, he set the house on fire, burning them both alive. After Ryan's death, I received a letter from him. It was probably just some meaningless apology. I didn't even open the envelope and threw it straight into the trash. Another chance? No way. God doesn't give wicked people another chance. Even if it did, no matter how many times things repeated, I wouldn't waver for him again. I have clear life goals now, and I'll only become a better version of myself.